Good morning, everyone, and welcome to DS9 Reactions. And I first want to apologize. Normally, these videos go up on a Friday, but I had a rather busy week this week, as my life has gotten more and more hectic in recent months, uh, for one reason or another. And yeah, we missed it. And so instead of being up on yesterday, which was the plan, here it is on a Saturday. Again, I, when I like to have the videos go up on a certain time, and again, I do apologize for that, especially for those who missed the post that I made on Thursday saying that it would be delayed an extra day. Anyway, for those who are new here, well, for welcome, and for the returning viewers, welcome back. An explanation of the format, of course, is always in order, in that I am going through each and every single episode of Deep Space Nine, rewatching them in their entirety for the first time in a very, very long time. It's like I was a kid when Deep Space Nine premiered. In my area, it aired on my local Fox affiliate. Originally, like on I want to say, yeah, it's Saturday nights with a replay on Sunday afternoons on Fox, and then later it was shift to what would be the local UPN affiliate, and then trade uh, back and forth with Voyager at times on Wednesdays. But there's always a lot of fun when it comes to Deep Space Nine. And this week's episode, The Storyteller, it is an episode, if I remember correctly, does a lot of stuff with the Bajorans. That introduces the fact that there is a portion of Bajor where they're very old, very ancient. They have a lot of superstitious beliefs still, but have the technology to ask for help for a medical emergency. And this is where Bashir and O'Brien go. And then you have the other plot is focused on Quark, Jake, and a young Bajoran leader who has to learn to compromise and negotiate. So perfect for like to apply some Ferengi logic to a situation. So I'm gonna dive right into it. I You don't hear any audio from the episode because I tend to run my mouth throughout, and of course things are blurred for DMCA copyright purposes. I treat this like as a podcast. So I have a conversation with you, essentially. So, I want to put on the subtitles. I sometimes forget to put on the subtitles when I have them available. Alrighty, let's get into it. 46729.1. It was a Tuesday. The thing, having Cisco mediate anything is kind of ironic because it often involves in him punching people. Yes, welcome on my board. Yeah, O'Brien is wanting to get out of going on a mission with Bashir. I get why this episode, in many ways, exists as a proof of concept regarding the Bashir and O'Brien dynamic. Is to give them both something to do on a consistent basis. Also, a strong indication as a reminder that Bashir, despite his youth, does outrank O'Brien, a career blue collar, non commissioned officer. The look on O'Brien's face, like, fuck this guy. Don't worry, Esri will. It will take about 6 years, but still. Kira has this perpetual smile on her face. The land and the people are one. Yes, it is. Yeah, you're coming along, Major. You're being dragged into this. Yes, she's a very young leader, and if memory serves me right, uh, the Paku leader's father died like between when they mediation was announced and her arrival on the station. So she's stepping up to the plate to be the leader of her people. Uh, but but that opening was rather fun in a way, establishing that Bashir and O'Brien are going off on their own thing, and that Cisco would need Kira's help in dealing with some of the Bajoran nuances that come with the various different cultures on the planet. Unlike the Klingons, people say, "Oh, the Klingons are so well rounded and everything." It's like, no, no, they're not. At this point in Star Trek's overall broadcast history, the Klingons are mostly one note honor, uh, external honor driven brutes. Really, there has been no established nuance that there is a difference between different types of Klingons. This episode of Deep Space Nine, right off the bat, establishes okay, Bashir and O'Brien are going to go visit one set of Bajorans. Kira clearly states that two sets of Bajorans live in some of the harshest areas on the planet, and that there are nuances and that there are differences. And it's one of the big advantages of having a series that's set in one location where you're able to explore those differences. Meanwhile, Chief O'Brien is fighting the urge to hang himself while being stuck in a runabout with Bashir. Kind of weird that Bashir is sitting behind O'Brien instead of sitting by side in the runabout's two pilot in the two front seats, the pilot seats, pilot co-pilot. O'Brien does not need to talk to you, Bashir. Granted, yes, I know you two fast will become fast friends over the course of the long term of the series. O'Brien's always thinking about work. What? Yes, you do have a tendency to run off the mouth sometimes, Bashir, and believe me, I know all about running off at the mouth. But that's why I format these videos to be exactly the way they are. Yeah, what should we call you? O'Brien is doing some rank stuff. Okay, like yes, call me Julian. Is that an order? Granted, Jadzia does call him by his first name a lot. And O'Brien would call Bashir Julian a lot over the course of the remainder of the series. Trying to think who. And those are the only characters that do. Oh, and Ezri, and but no one else really does. So it's kind of a unique thing there of who calls Bashir by his first name. Gentlemen, who walked in? They're in great jeopardy. Where's Alex Trebek? Oh, he's dead. Old man is dying. Typical plot. You know, the little of the dude in the orange, I would if it wasn't for the fact that he was a bit too tall, I would say, oh look, it's Rob Schneider. And also the other factor is that Schneider's hair at this point was much further back on the hairline. This other thing is like making coffees, telling stories. Sit down, have a conversation. But she stands over there to the left of the table. That's yeah, it's quite negotiable there. Yeah, it's like to have a fine border. So that's no, her father is dead, but as simple as that. And just because the Cardassians did something, they realigned the river. If you go by the letter of the negotiation, she's right. She is not a little lady. Taste and considering the complexity of the Ferengi makeup, I'm willing to bet whoever touches up Armin Shimmerman the makeup and stuff was not too pleased of having like a liquid tossed in his face. Hey, a couple of Twi'leks. See, they're canon to Star Trek. Why not play some ball? Baseball is slow and boring. Oh, and canonically, Nog struggles with the curveball. But it's so interesting. In that case, you can see nothing from up here. It's such a cute little scene with Odo doing his job, and it's like, I think Odo just likes to mess with them a little bit, and they sit right back down, like they know. Buck Bokai. That's actually foreshadowing because Buck Bokai appears in the episode of when wishes if wishes were horses. So that's actually setting up that plot point that Jake has a fondness for Buck Bokai, and is like he's the greatest hitter of all time. The cleverness here, continuity being established here, something that in this episode that's going to come up in a later episode in this season, no less. Rob Schneider, make me some coffee. You are dressed. This is a great shot that's having O'Brien in the background. It's like he's doing nothing. He's just sitting down. You're not the one he's waiting for. Bring forward the chief. Why? Why do you want to see him? Come closer. Give me your hand. We are now married. That didn't. You know, it's funny. That I kind of wonder if he's looking to grasp the hand of someone. Like he needed somebody who was like a working man. Bashir not having a clue is, well, very common at this point in the series. It's like he's an old man. He is dying to old age. What's the again? It's kind of odd that the superstition aspect of this particular village on Bajor, it fascinates me. It's the only time we see someone. No, I take that back to some extent because you got Vedic Wind being an orthodox right wing church first idiot that leans heavily in manipulating prophecy and stuff to the to her own political benefit. But then you have these people who are so simple, they're able to ask for help. They're aware of space travel stuff, but they still have superstitions and a tradition. Are you afraid? You ring you Nog is they're dancing. They're dancing. But it's funny that Nog is so shy and scared. No, his name is Joke. Like you did this enter in uninvited. Yeah, they're very unofficial working condition. This put the Jake is putting his feet up on the table. But it's interesting though that she's a little bit more friendly towards them because they are her own age. So it's definitely a wonderful little dynamic here. Always got to watch your wormhole. She now she is, I think age wise she is because Jake, excuse me, Nog is older than Jake by a couple of years. So we're talking about 15, 16 years old, so it kind of works. I think Jake at this point is 14-ish or so. In the hands of the prophets. No, you're not in that episode, sir. That's the season finale. You are not in this and you are not in that episode. And here it comes. A 1992 produced CGI cloud monster. It's like it's coming. I remember it rather well. But here you got a wind machine blowing heavy. I wonder if no, because clearly something was part of this was built off. There was an exterior shot, but this is also showing some interiors. This dude is Moses. It is like, let my people go. Kind of wonder if they could have gotten like I'm trying to think of who else could have played this role, and I was gonna say Yul Brynner, but I don't think Yul Brynner was alive at this point in 92, 93. It's It's a thing. And also remember, makeup wise, that they had to do Bajoran makeup on like a bunch of people. And if one thing you always gotta say about Deep Space Nine is they take full advantage of their makeup budget. And it may not seem like much to do the noses, but consider that you're talking about like over like 2 to 3 dozen people just for the main story here. It's like, oh look, it's the power of caring. And the score is rather big and bombastic, and he has a heart attack. Like everything is being wrecked. O'Brien does not get paid for this. No, literally, he does not get paid. Yeah, he does have the wrong guy, but because that's the point of the plot. Yes, O'Brien used that big Irish tone. It, it would have been interesting if O'Brien ended up becoming the Sarah going forward, just having to come back from Deep Space Nine like once every year to deal with the Dalrock situation. It would have been like an excuse to bring Keiko down. It was like, oh, let's go on vacation. These, these people treat me as a god. Again, again, clearly the person who was doing the score for this movie for this episode clearly pulling inspiration from like the Ten Commandments. Yes, they're being paid to cheer. Love those lady in the front row. Yay! It's like it's a wonderful bit there. Oh, and he's dead. Yes, he's dead, Miles. The the other big thing here is with the Bajorans, or at least here is like you get to see Bajorans in like in a various colorful outfits and such. And when you think about on the station, a lot of times we see Kira almost always in her red outfit. And then a lot of the others are in like the gray attire or the tan security attire or the multicolor ensemble. Morn, take a shot for Morn. Star Drifter. What's involved in it? It's green. Oh, make it a double. So those negotiations are going that well. He wants a double, which is a cute little scene there. 5 long unproductive hours sitting. I know all about that. He She is committed to her views and the traditions of the letter of the law. You gotta admire that. Well, either which way, they'll be ready. But you know what? You're the wrong Cisco to deal with Varys. Oh yeah, yeah. Why can't you say two words to her? No. Oh look, she found a wonderful. She found her spot. Yeah, Nog can barely get the words out, which is just it's adorable there. Yeah, that's a wonderful shot right there with them all. They want something that I have, and they don't. And it's like they're willing to die for it. Yeah, what do you want for your people? It's an opportunity plus instinct equals profit. It is a rule of acquisition. Really wrong. It, no, in the case of in his own in his own way, Rom is smart. He's a mechanical genius. Yes, Kim and Chloe killed her parents. It's well, she can talk to you two. There's something other than your father. Odo's here. It's like, oh, they draw a young lady into it, and Odo's there. And it's like the smile on his face, like Odo just the smirk on Odo's face in that scene is like, yeah, he just loves messing with them. It actually gives him an excuse to interact with them. It's like, okay, he has to be he has to be the hard ass, but at the same time, he gets it. What the hell is that's a weird looking apple thing. And Commander Cisco is the emissary of the prophets, so technically you were sent by the prophets, O'Brien. Use that circular logic there, and does he get to take all of it home with him after the new Syrah is taken? Damn it, Bashir! You know, someone he was sitting in that chair. Um, yes, they're offering services. This is a misunderstanding. Well, yes, I mean they're quite lovely. But I have a wife and daughter on Deep Space Nine. It's like shoo 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 shoo. That's a, you know, if you think about it, Keiko will probably be all for living on Bajor. She to be pandered to and pampered as the wife of the Shara. You just know Keiko would approve. Tell a story. Otherwise, you're totally fucked. And the Rob Schneider looking dude is not happy. Again, if you knowing the plot and everything, it goes a long way. It's like that's the. In my case, it adds to the enjoyment. They threw some weird uh, a orange tarp thing over that sofa, which is okay. It's quite unique there. Yes, we're halfway through the episode. Oh, really? We're like 30 minutes in, give or take. Enter her quarters. Nog, seriously, seriously, Jake needs like a better attire. I get it. It's the West. Giving like Federation officers, or at least Jake, this off-duty like onesie jumpsuit is rather unflattering. Because it's almost like it's like the spandex attire that you see on TNG's seasons 1 and 2, or at the very least, no, I'm looking at it. It is a two-piece outfit that Jake is wearing. It is clearly it is the format of it, because you got the collar portion like the top of a Starfleet uniform, then the green portion of it, but it's tucked into the pants, which come all the way up to his chest. So if they actually flip that with the green portion being untucked and pulled down, it would look a hell of a lot better. It, it, I mean, seriously, whoever designed that uniform looking thing, will work. Clearly, did not appreciate the aesthetics there. Maybe somebody played a joke on Jake with that outfit. But now they're gonna go to Odo's office. It's like, oh yeah, the bucket scene. Obviously, he's there. But I got distracted with Jake's outfit. And it's funny that this is said here in this episode. Every 16 hours, he has to regenerate. And it's a reminder of that, because that comes up in the episode The Forsaken, the Roxana the Troy episode of season 1. So there are things that are being said and mentioned in this episode that is going to end up becoming important before the season is over. And it's oatmeal. The look on Nog's face is like he's so worried. I, I'm, I'm surprised like Nog did not get any of it on Varys. And she gets a laugh and stuff, she gets to be a kid. It's a wonderful laughing scene. Uh-oh. The man is here. Yes, it does. Catch! Run, Nog! Oh. They were having a little bit of fun. Yeah, come this way, Nog. Disco is not happy. But she was He was playing. It again, it's a wonderful dynamic, and it's a very is that at least that she is a point of vulnerability because she's a kid. Ish. That's a good question there. Yes, bless the baby. Yes, you. And it's a ham. Ham. Oh, that's a wonderful braid ponytail. In fact, she's just cute in general too. That was a cute blonde. I can appreciate a cute blonde. Yes, you deal with this, Julian. No, you cannot be of any service. And look, Rob Schneider is mad. I'm sorry, I know it's not Rob Schneider, but the dude looks like him to an extent. If you close if you squint, it looks like totally looks like Rob Schneider. Come on, if you need like a creepy little dude who look like he'll try to kill someone, you always like Rob Schneider fills that archetype. Really, are there? Yeah, at least O'Brien was observant that thing. Oh, and it's also kind of unique on the windows. Let's notice that the Bajoran logo, or what would be the Bajoran logo, is actually on like the window shade blinds. So yeah, the window shade, because it's clearly it's a drawn down thing. Oh no, Brian just saw him coming. Now, the question is, did the chief see him through the through in the mirror, or or is he just that distinctive? How strong is this dude? Punch him! Like punch him in the face. It's a good question to ask. Yes, you won't get any argument from him. He's not the true Syrah. Who is the true one? Okay, you can have the job. We'll leave. Simple as that. Is it really that simple? Well, yeah, not really. The reason being he's made a mistake. And there's a piece of the orb on there. You see it flashing for just a moment. Uh, yep. Even I remember that little aspect of the deal. But the fact that it flashes for a moment to tease that. Ah, so it's basically this village was basically Alabama. It's the backwater of Bajor. Like if if Bajor needed an enema, this is where you will stick it. Ah, Sarah, Sarah, c'est la vie. So it keeps the villager, and the village becomes all happy and peaceful for a time, and then like the levels of mistrust and hate start building back up, and the Dalrock returns periodically. So it all works out. O'Brien already has a plan, and then there's this asshole. No, you're gonna allow O'Brien to endanger the village for a first time. Like O'Brien was trying to get out of it, but he can figure out an alternate way to do it. Meanwhile, back on the station, no, it was Nog and Jake's idea. Really? And they were doing a very good job. Yes, in the first episode, when we saw what Cisco did to impress Jennifer. But the needs of her people come first. And Nog does not like to have Jake talk about you. It's like, I mean, she does a very the actress playing Varys does a very very good job here. And I know it says like with the material you have to work with, and that she has to, and where she's basically have to be like a mini Kira, mini Ro, and you have to have like the intensity that comes with the Bajorans, especially coming out of the occupation. But no, maybe there's a compromise. Don't lose. But you know, we gotta know when to compromise. But again, think about so the thing is, though, what does the other side have that she could possibly want? A simple trade. An opportunity. She has some instinct, and it's going to lead to profit. Here comes Moses. I mean, Miles. And there is an episode of Deep Space Nine where Miles has an unruly beard. Oh, it's like the episode was it Hard Time or something like that, where it's like mentally he spends like 20 years in prison or something, but it's only been like maybe 2 hours. It's like some sort of mental implant thing, and that gets poorly done in Voyagers. And the episode ex post facto bit with Harris. Like again, think about it. The chief takes his place upon the mountain. Again, once upon a time, he doesn't know the story. Once upon a time, he doesn't know the story. He knows the little details, but doesn't know the how it's supposed to be told or the theatrics and stuff. But one thing I will have to say about the audio mix on this episode, if you're listening with fairly decent headphones, you can almost hear where like a lot of stuff of like the background things from the village are said via ADR, and it is actually distracting. You can hear coming from different sides. Does O'Brien even have the little have that bracelet to control it? It's a hell of a plan. O'Brien is trying. What lights? Oh, there are the lights. O'Brien is down. The chief is down. Yeah, realize that. O'Brien had to take a bump. So, again, they get that Care Bear stare going. Oh no! Think about it. The whole postponing the story of the Sarah here. It's essentially straight out of Care Bears, complete with the Care Bear stare. Because I just realized what that thing is. It's the Dalrock. It's Starkheart from the first Care Bears movie. I just realized the entire plot here. It's like when you think about it, and if you're old enough to have seen the first Care Bears movie, uh, you real you realize how things. It's like all the hate and mistrust. You gotta have the love and the caring and the unity. You come together and you can push away the evil. So it's like yeah, O'Brien is like let's get the fuck out of here. And you know these youngsters are gonna happily take those three young ladies. He's a little bit nervous. Better than war. Okay, free trade access. Okay. Ah, there they are. And you just know she got orange makeup around her lips, and that's why the camera angle is where it is. Yeah. It's already shining, Odo, and this is all in one shot too. So the wrap up of the story arcs and everything, as well as a little bit with Jake and Odo having to clean up Odo's office. But he will end up calling him Julian on a regular basis going forward. Alrighty. So let's fully talk about it. This is a very good episode, particularly when you know, or at least if you're paying attention to the point where you recognize that certain elements are going to be coming back. Uh, in the future episodes. The reminder that Odo takes 16 hours to regenerate, and that's something that is mentioned in A Man Alone. That his regeneration cycle. Um, is that is where it's formally introduced, and it's mentioned here, obviously for the gag of Jake and Nog and Ferris, and the whole oatmeal incident. But it comes back up in the episode The Forsaken. So having it mentioned in this episode is actually uh pretty important. And then also Jake mentioning Buckbo Kai. That's coming up if Wishes Were Horses is like 2 episodes from now. And Buckbo Kai makes an appearance, granted via an alien who's like learning about studying the folks on the station is, and we'll get to that when we'll get to that. But again, Buck Bokai is mentioned in this episode, and then 2 episodes later he appears. Um, so again, reminder, a little storytelling, a little continuity, things that if you're truly paying attention, yes, I am running my mouth over the course of the episode, reacting, commenting on the different aspects and so forth. I'm also paying attention to what is being said and the little details, and like knowing, like, oh wait, this is going to come. This is going to be relevant sooner than anybody thinks. So it's actually you gotta appreciate like how much nuance and stuff is in Deep Space Nine as opposed to Next Generation, where okay, things get introduced and then they are brought back uh again and again at different points in time. Like Cisco's love of baseball, obviously Jake's into baseball. It's introduced that Nog can't hit a curveball, but but here's, you want to talk about long term like little details and stuff in there. It's established in this episode that Nog has played baseball with Jake. What episode happens in season 7? Take Me Out to the Holosuite, the baseball episode, and Nog is the catcher while Jake is pitching. So that just lays, that's not sure if that actually comes back around as like if anybody remember that when it comes to that episode. But this is an episode that establishes that Jake and Nog have played baseball in the Holosuite together. Um, I love the little scene with Kira like going into Quarks, like give me a Star Drifter. How the negotiations going? Make it a double. And Quark just knew from there, and of course we got an appearance from Morn. Keiko and Molly do get referenced and everything. I still think though, if O'Brien in like some parallel dimension was able to make being the Sorrel work, Keiko probably wouldn't have minded relocating the Bajor and everything. As I said, it's like there would have been kids in the village for Molly to play with and everything, and plenty of plants and stuff. Keiko could have been a botanist of sorts in her own way. There's a lot of like storytelling like alternatives there. Like if you can kind of see like Keiko like basking and it's like, oh, my husband, oh, Miles is the Sarah. Like Keiko would have probably had a hell of a fun time teasing O'Brien over his position and everything, but she would of course bask in the glory of it. So yeah, so it's a lot of little fun little details in here. I do want to go back and touch briefly before we wrap up on the jumpsuits and stuff that Jake was wearing. That greenish turquoise ensemble, because it looks like he has his pants. The pants portion of that is like it's pulled all the way up to his chest, and it's clear that it's a 2-piece. And it's like, why do they have the showing the pants portion and where you actually can see the lines where there is a bit of a fold? Why do they have him wear it like that instead of having like the overshirt tucked down, instead of tucked into it, tuck over it? I get in terms of design and everything, and it's like it's supposed to resemble like the Federation uniforms, especially the Deep Space Nine variants. Uh, in terms but it just looks odd, and I kind of wonder. I'm trying to think of what, because Cyril Lawson does go through a growth spurt, several in fact, because the dude is extremely tall. It's like he ends up being like taller than Avery Brooks by the time the series ends. So it's like I don't remember exactly when they stopped putting him in those one-piece stuff, like stuff that you would see Wesley Crusher wear. These four. You know what? Now that I think about it, what Jake is wearing is essentially what Gene Roddenberry wanted all of humans to wear. Off, like you go back to Star Trek: The Motion Picture, with a lot of those beige, bland-looking uniforms. You kind of can see like the influence there, and then you look at TNG season 1 with like the very tight-fitting snug jumpsuit, polyester looking uniforms. So it's kind of a hold. It's almost like a holdover from that. And it's kind of funny that on if you look at the uniforms on Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise, they actually look like well on Deep Space Nine up until season four, back in season four, season five, after First Contact when they adapt those uniforms. In general, they are like clearly made for like working and stuff. They're more like they're almost like the boiler suits, for lack of a better term, especially the Enterprise uniforms than the majority of the Voyager and DS9 uniforms, or at least for when the guys are wearing them. Women, unfortunately, on Voyager and Deep Space Nine, have the uniforms so damn tight you can tell what religion they are. I know you're supposed to say that for like the men, but seriously, you kind of appreciate a lot of Terry Farrell's assets that way. But anyway, on that bombshell and the talking about uniforms and fashion sense from my asinine point of view, we'll wrap this up here. Obviously, well, again, this is a Saturday. This is just going up on a Saturday. We tonight over on the YouTube channel, we are going to be starting Batman Arkham Asylum. And then tomorrow over on the Twitch channel, we are doing we're continuing Rise of the Tomb Raider stuff, and also on Wednesday over on the Twitch channel, we are also going to be playing Gears of War Reloaded, since that comes out on the 26th. So we're gonna we so so I'm not exactly sure when. If you're wondering when we're going to be done with Rise of the Tomb Raider, there's a lot to do in that game. It's like, and we want to get as many of the achievements in that done as possible, or at least or the trophies and such. And if, depending on how successful we are, that means at some point next year we reinstall it on the Xbox side and do it all again. To go after the stuff we missed on that time. Anyway, tighten your friendship bracelet, stay safe, have a great day, and we'll like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. See you, folks.